And it goes a little something like.
Good day, ma'am. I am the group 4. This is the continuation of the chapter 5. Now I will going to tackle about the Philippine society and culture today. So Rosales asked 132, how does one describe the Philippine society today? After being under the influences of the West for almost 400 years, what has become of the Philippine society formerly ruled by Datos? What happened to the beautiful traits of the Filipino, of our culture? How are we identified now as a Filipino? She answered her question. So the Philippine society ruled by Datos no longer exists. It died with the coming of the Western power. What we have today is a society ruled by political dynasties from the southern to the northern part of the country. We have today a society where only 20% of the population have control over power, while 80% belong to the middle class and the masses. If before our society was classified into the ruling class, the middle class, and the masa, the poor masa now has been classified into the poor, the poorer of the poor, and the poorest of the poor. So, the Philippine society and culture today, ang dato is mo na siya ang gintawag nga ang pinuno. Sila ang tigmando or kanang sila ang tigkontrol og unsay like more like kanang sa batas or so sa atong society karon we're only 20% of the population while 80% belong to the middle class. So ang middle class is mo na siya ang like kanang sa professional, occupation or income have control over power. So kasagaran sa Pilipino kay wala ay kanang pobre ra gid kayo like kanang wala kanang dili maglisod bitaw sila og unsay kinahanglan nila og unsa ang ilahang gusto nga paliton is the defeat lament over the loss of traditional values and the prevalence of the negative traits in the Filipino society. It highlights the decline of the virtues like patience, perseverance, frugality, and thrift, influenced by Chinese culture and the emergence of a society lacking discipline, initiative, and independence on the government. Colonial mentality is criticized for favoring imported goods over local products, damaging the economy. Additional and selfish and envious kanya-kanya, every man for himself. Mindset is observed, hindering cooperation and community service. Materialism is pervasive, leading to corruption and incendiary public service among those in power. Thus, the pledge, paglilingkuran ko ang aking bayan ng walang pag-iimbot at buong katapatan has turned to paglilingkuran ko ang aking bayan ng buong pag-iimbot at walang katapatan. So, we have lost the pitiful traits of an ancestor. So, ang ancestors is mana siya ang ininono or grandparent. Chinese or insect like Chinese and insect traits like pasensya, ang kuan, ang patience is man siya ang pasensya. So ang perseverance is man siya ang tiyaga, ang frugality is man siya ang pagtitipid. Ang nag-influence ana ang Chinese culture. So kita nga mga Pilipino is daghang tay kanang gusto buhaton like kana bitang wala tay pakialam sa uban ug unsa pud ang ilahang buhaton. So kasagaran sa Pilipino is lack of discipline or lack of initiative. Like kana bitong dili sila mobuhat silang kagalingon like kana sa ilang opinion or sa kanang ilang gusto like kanang mosaligra sila sa uban ug unsay kanang sugon bitaw kang wala sila kanang initiative nga dili bitaw nila buhaton ug unsay makatabang sa uban tao. So ang colonial mentality is di ba sa lain nga mga country is at very attractive kayo ang mga products sa toa. Like kana bitong mas pilion pa nimo nga mopalit sa imported kaysa sa kanang mga lokal. Mao na siya ang ginatawag nga colonial mentality. Kanang attractive kay ta sa uban like kana da kanya-kanya syndrome in the Philippines society like kana bitong ato ang pagkinabangay diri sa atong society like ang uban kanang selfish ra bitaw kayo kanang dili sila mutabang og unsay mga lihukonon. Like kanang bitong mas unahon pa bitaw nila ang ilahang kanang mga wants or needs nga ilahang mabuhat silang kagalingon. Like kana bitang wala sila kana bitang dili sila gusto kanang malabuan nga. So next is cultural transformation bringing out the best in the Filipino. The delve into the complexities of the Filipino, tracing its historical influence and identifying both its strengths and weaknesses. It emphasized the need for cultural and adaptation and evolution while maintaining balance between embracing external influences and preserving indigenous roots. Various cultural traits such as kinship ties, adaptability, and hospitality are discussed alongside challenges like political stagnation and personal loyalties hindering progress. The narrative calls for a comprehensive approach to cultural transformation, aiming to address society flaws and promote values conducive to national unity, economic growth, and social economy. So, ang culture is the sum total of the Filipino history and institutions, customs and traditions, belief and aspiration, arts, literature, poetry, and music. So, like, kanang sa una bitong panahon, like, mo siya ang gibasihan sa karon nga mga generation, like, kanang himuan bitaw nila og kuan, literature, arts, poetry, and music sa sinauna nga during the war sa ilang na experience. Literature meaning writing form the letters. Literature most commonly refers to work of the creative imagination including poetry, drama, fiction, non-fiction, journalism, and song. So, in bringing out the best in the Filipino culture, 2 points need to be recognized. Sa kanang kinahanglan bitaw nato i-recognize as a Filipino sa ato. First is culture, can either inhibit or accommodate change. Like kanang bitaw sa una, like kanang natay kanang mamatyan bitaw, like kanang bitaw bawal ba na siya manilhig or dagan bitaw kanang bawal nga. So ang accommodate change is kana ato ang mga kanang maabot bitaw sa tuwa nga mga kabaguhan. So the capacity for patience is legendary. Filipinos will endure hardship whenever necessary to attain some good for oneself and one family. The family orientation runs in strong and colors many dealings and transactions. Patience provide for children even when they have grown and have families for their own children. Provides for parents in their old age. So tuang family is mo na siya ang mag-guide sa tuang or mag-provide sa tuang mga kinahanglan. So the reflect on the failure to realize the vision of the Philippine 2000 for transforming the Filipino society. Instead of progress, the narrative paints a grim picture of a society plagued by poverty, lack of discipline, and self-serving officials. It attributes this decay to the abandonment of the culture values in favor of materialism, indifference, and moral emptiness. The text highlights the need for societal transformation and suggests that the current state of affairs results from a collective failure to evolve as a Filipino. So, ang gikuan ani sa Philippine ang uban is lack of discipline na kana bitong sa unang panahon is like nanapan ng pagmamano or kanang respect ay for elders. Sa karon nga kuan is kasagaran is kana bitong wala na bitaw sila kanang respeto or dili na nila hunahon og unsay maayo or unsay kanang dili. So next is fighting the war against forgetting. The devolved into the importance of preserving Filipino culture amidst the pressures of modernization and globalization. They highlights the richness of Filipino heritage across various fields such as music, arts, literature, and culinary arts, as well as the diverse stories of individuals who proudly embrace their Filipino identity. The text emphasized the need for cultural stewardship, and appreciation of indigenous knowledge, while cautioning against neglecting or abandoning cultural tradition in favor of external influences. It underscores the value of remembering the celebrating Filipino history and traditions as means of shaping national identity and fostering pride in the one's heritage. So, ang kining the fighting the war against forgetting. So, sa panahon sa una, during the war Spanish, o sa tanan nagsakop diri sa Pilipinas, like kanang preserve nila ang Filipino culture o tradition nila nga ginabuhat. Although pressure or trauma sila ang ilang na-experience before during the war. So, Filipino against the Spanish, Japanese, American era, or ilaha gihapon ginatagaan og bili ang pagbuhat sa culture, tradition, that time sa modernization and globalization. So kanang ilahang gi highlights nila kung unsa tong tradition or culture sa mga Pilipino sa una. nga kana bitaw ang ilahang gi more like ilahang gi promote ang ilahang tradition that time. Tas kadtong mga culture I like music arts, literature o culinary arts, or sa mga lain-lain pa nga mga history or identity sa mga Pilipino. Kanang ila bitaw gi-embrace like ilahang giputang sa ilang hunahuna or ilahang kasing-kasing nga kani importante ni as a Pilipino. Like ilaha gyapong buha kana bitaw like ilaha gyapong buhaton ang culture ug tradition through pressure trauma during the war. So kini nga text ang fighting the war against forgetting is gi-emphasize ni siya sa Pilipino. So kinahanglan ang culture is steward gud siya. Like imuhang i-appreciate ug unsay knowledge sa mga indigenous people sa kadtong culture ug unsay naa sa imuhang culture na kinahanglan nimo i-adapt sa imuhang kaugalingon. Kay para ma-avoid ta nga dili i-abandon sa mga Pilipino during the war sa una kay para dili bitaw ta ma-influensyahan sa lain-lain nga mga country. For example, sa pag-celebrate sa tradition as a Filipinos like pista, so isa na siya ka tradition sa Pilipino nga dapat ato ang i-celebrate as a Filipino.